So let's go to Art of Dialogue with Judge Joe Mathis to get some game on child support.
How you feel about child support? Do you think it's fair to the men?
Well, let me get a brother some nuggets on this because they got it twisted. I promise you they got it twisted. Look, brothers, I know you don't like the government getting in your business. I know you don't even want to tell them your real name. I got that. However, if you have a child, by law, if the child is not under your custody, you have to pay child support. And I know they work out private agreements with the mother sometimes. Well, I'll give you $200 a month. I give you $500 a month. I give you $100, whatever it is. You work out that private agreement, right? Because I don't want the government in my business, right? Okay. It's off 2 years, 3 years down the line, right? She go to court. I'm going to file child support. She tell the judge, he hadn't paid child support. It's been 3 years. I think he owed me $30,000, $20,000, whatever the case. He comes up, Judge, let me show you these receipts. I gave her money. I bought the kids clothes, such and such and such. Now, depending on the judge, I might give you credit. But many judges, you know what they do? They say those were gifts. That wasn't child support. They say, so let me add up the child support you should have been paying. So those gifts, which might have amounted to $5,000 or $10,000, you don't get credit for them. Instead, you get a $5,000 or $10,000 bill for child support from the government.
And so when you look at it, most judges will look at this, even if you got receipts and all of that, they will say, oh, no, that don't count. It was gifts, like she said. So let me charge you for the actual child support you pay. Even though it's like, Judge, why would I have receipts of stuff that was gifts for my child? I bought this stuff for my child, so obviously it's child support. But you know the reason why they're deciding to rule in her favor and still charge you for the child support? Because the money. They want the money that you are going to funnel into the judicial system. That's why they're hitting you with. That's why they're like, yeah, any reason we can put you on child support, we're gonna put you on child support because we want our cut of that money. You dig what I'm saying? So yeah, they have no reason to really rule in your favor and not have you pay the money through the court. They want to make sure the money goes not from just you to her to help the child. They want the money to go from you to the system so they can get their money, and then to her so they can get what's left for the child.
So it's best because the woman can get up there any problem. I paid her child. I don't know nothing about it, Your Honor. He ain't gave me a dime. Well, here's the receipts. Well, those were gifts, Your Honor. So I'm just giving a little nugget. I know we don't like the government in our business, but that's one time because they calculate child support based on your income. It ranges between 3% and 7%, depending on how many children you may have. And so you might be paying 20% of your income because you don't know any different. But the courts have a formula, which in most instances is somewhat fair.
But he says in most cases, the courts is somewhat fair. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, but is it though? Because like Kanye and Kim, what child needs $40,000-$50,000 a month to survive, or even to be comfortable? You dig what I'm saying? That's ridiculous. And then it's like they awarded Kim this, and they know she's a billionaire. You dig what I'm saying? Like Kanye was a billionaire too at the time, but that's just ridiculous. It should be a cap on, even with rich folks, the amount that a child can be awarded, because it's the 50,000 is not getting spent on a child a month. It's just not. You know what I'm saying? And if we made women pay it first and then bring us the receipts and we'll pay the receipts, then you show me everything that you spent and if it's for the child or not. You know what I'm saying? But just for the regular man that's paying regular, he say it might be fair, right? But is it though? When a woman can wipe out 10 years of you paying out of the court, you've been paying for 10 years and then she go to the judge because she mad at you now and want to be vindictive and be like, oh, everything he did up to now was gifts. And then the judge is going to side with that and say, yeah, I agree with her. It was gifts. You know why? Because they want their cut. You dig what I'm saying? They on they mob stuff. They need they cut. The money has to go, can't go from you to her. It has to go from you to them and then her. Because like I said, they got to get their cut. They trying to get their money back from the assistance that they granted her, right? They granted her assistance, hospital, bills and this, that, and another week, all that government assistance that they giving her. Government trying to get that back. You know what I'm saying? And they gonna get it when they find you. That's why they would allow a woman to just randomly name a dude and it not even be the father. Be proof. He come up with DNA proof afterwards that he ain't the father. They don't care. You still on the hook for that. And you're not getting off if you don't pay it, you're going to jail. How is that fair? You dig what I'm saying? That DNA tests are not mandatory at birth to keep that from happening because they want they cut. You're going to get the money back to them one way or another.
And you would probably be better off going with that formula, paying through the court, than to give her the money on the side for her one day to flip out and say you ain't paid her no child support and all that gifts, all that money and you've given her for 3 to 5 years were gifts. Just a little wisdom to my brothers.
That's some great wisdom. So everything you give her, make sure you report it.
Yes. Yes. Yep, absolutely. I would even have her sign. If you're not going to do it through the government, have her sign something that says this goes towards child support fees for my son or daughter. If you don't want the government in your name, if you don't want the government in your business yet, because they're going to get in there whenever she's ready, be ready for them.
So if you want to keep the government out to business, you got to be very meticulous about labeling things and making sure you keep receipts and making sure that his contract's drawn up. Every time you give her something or give money to her, to make sure that it's noted that that is for child support for the child and not just a gift. Because like you say, at some point, you never know when she may change her mind about y'all agreement out of the court and decide to renege on you. And if she does, you want to be able to claim all that you have spent. You don't want to be spending money for 10 years and then have her step in and be able to erase all of that because most judges are just going to agree. Like, yeah, it was gifts. Even though it's like, Judge, why would I be giving her 10 years of gifts? I ain't even been with this broad. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Even if I was with her, it's like, you going to tell me none of this was for the child, Judge? So that's unfair right off the rip of how that's done. But that's what you would have to do to keep the government out of your business. But other than that, you have to invite them in by signing yourself up for child support. And I guess at that point, you'll get fairer rates and you won't have to worry about her doing the rearage and all of that. You know what I'm saying? But the whole system of child support, just for the man's point of view, is terrible, man. Terrible. Just off the bail, just when you have the baby, they don't even have to, they can put you on child support without even knowing that you the father or not. No DNA test or nothing. It's mandatory. Right? I done seen guys who have been named to be the father. They go out and find these guys and tax them as if they are the father. The guy turns out he doesn't know this woman. He's never met her, never had sex with her, none of that. But because he's been named, he's guilty. And if he don't continue to pay, he's going to jail. He's going to jail. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is nothing new. And there's nothing you can do about it. Even after the guy took the DNA test, it's still, okay, cool. We proved that you're not the father, but you're still on the hook to keep paying. You know why? Because the government is another form of the mob. Like they the original mob. You know what I'm saying? I guess they want they cut. They want they cut, and they're gonna get it. They already getting they cut from everybody through the working or whatever, but that new baby that's coming to the world, that the agreement you got between that woman, that money can't just go from you to her. You got to circle that through them. They need they cut, and that's why they gonna name somebody. I don't care who the woman is, but they just it's irritating because they give the woman no fault in any of this. She gets no punishment. She gets to just Like you say, they can name somebody and they'll tax this guy, and it doesn't matter if he's the father or not. You know what I'm saying? They incentivize her to be a single mother. They give her benefits if she's a single mother. They know that they can hit your pockets if you know what I'm saying. If you the baby father, but if you the baby father and you trash, you a bum that don't make no money, then she can name another guy who do make money, and she knows she'll get money from that because the government is going to say, well, oh, there he is. Yeah, we're taxing him. We don't care if he's the father or not. So it's very unfair. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, as a man, you don't have any choice. If you do want the baby, you have no choice because it's her body, her choice. If you don't want the baby, it don't matter. You have no choice. It's her body, her choice. You dig what I'm saying? And she could tell you, we don't need you. We don't need nothing. You to do nothing for the baby or none of that. And 5 years later, change her mind, and you still on the hook to pay. And if you don't pay, then you're going to jail. You dig what I'm saying? So you're threatened with jail when you don't want to have nothing to do with the baby. But when the woman don't want to have nothing to do with the baby, and she decides to go ahead and get it snatched, what do they give her? Do she go to jail? No. Because it ain't a crime. Right? Even though if we talking real, that's a homicide. Y'all don't like to say that, but that's what that is. You dig what I'm saying? But they applaud her for it. Oh, you're so brave being a single mother. You're brave and going to get a baby pulled. Like, and don't throw the 1% of cape into the analogy that women like to so fervently bring up, because that's less than 1% of what those of what women get rid of babies for. Less than 1%. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just very unfair that everything surrounding that whole situation with men usually don't come out on top. So the best way you can do is try to navigate it the best way you can. Some people say try to get joint custody as soon as the baby is born, and that's a good idea too, I believe, because it helps you as far as seeing the baby and stuff like that. If that gets weird later on, but it still doesn't absolve you from the child support. Like, that's still not a shield for that. So either way, man, better keep it in your pants and sit down somewhere, man. At the very least, keep a condom on you, bro. Like, but you know, like I say, that's just the baby part of it. The STDs and STIs are still out here running rampant. So either way, it's all bad out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Find you somebody good, find you a good woman, and sit down somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And pray that she don't bring you through the cleaners too. You dig what I'm saying? But it sounds just all bad, all sad. Hate for the video to go like this, but man, it's just, you know what I'm saying? But I still believe in families and love and all of that, man, all that good stuff, marriage, you know what I'm saying? It's just, you have to be very careful about who you're choosing to do these things with, because they are life decisions. And if you make the wrong decision, it will disassemble your life, like, for real, because women are unforgiving when it comes to that type of stuff. When they don't like how it goes, some of them, many of them, can be very harsh and vindictive when stuff don't go their way. This is your boy P Camp. Let me know what you think, what you don't think. Get at your boy.